Morning, grade sixes. Welcome to your daily lesson of mathematics brought to you by WorksheetCloud. I hope you guys are all well today and looking forward to today's lesson. A reminder of the email address on your screen, grade6@worksheetcloud.com. Please feel free to use it. Send me any feedback, suggestions, questions, queries, or any mathematical topic that you would like me to cover moving forward. Today we are continuing with the theme of data, and we're going to look at analyzing data today, and more specifically the mode and the median. We've got our warm-up and our mental arithmetic practice, as well as our brain bender and finisher on either side of that main theme. So let's have a look at our warm-up for today. So by now you know you need to find out the value of each symbol and the question mark at the end. I've now put you guys up onto a different level of these activities, so they will start getting a little bit more tricky. And my hint for you today is to remember the order of operations. Divide comes first, then multiply, then add, and then subtract. Give this activity a go and then press play to see how you get on. So you can notice from the top line that 28 divided by 4 is equal to 7. So we'll have 7 at 7 4 times, and that's going to give me the answer of 28. The goldfish must also be 7 because 7 subtract 7 is 0. 13 is equal to what minus 7? Okay, so the cat needs to be 20. So if I have 20 for the cat, it must be multiplied by 1 to get me the answer of 20. And then right at the bottom, I should have 20 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 1 divided by 7. Okay? So as I said before you started, division needs to come first. So 1 divided by 7 is the same as 1 over 7. Then we can go 20 multiplied by 7, which is 140. 140 multiplied by 1/7 is going to give me an answer of 20. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit more tricky than it has been in the past, and the key here is to remember the order of operations. Your mental arithmetic practice is on the screen. There are 7 questions today. Press pause and work through them. Take your time, there's no rush. Please remember to check your work. Write down your calculations in a methodical, logical, and legible manner, and follow the processes that we've spoken about over the last few weeks. Question number 1 is on the screen. It's addition of decimals. So we should by now know that we just add normally. The key is to line the decimal up, make sure that you carry when you need to, and just work carefully and make sure that you check your work after you've finished. Okay, so go through it again and make sure you haven't made any careless errors. Subtraction, similar to addition, in that the numbers need to be put in the correct columns. You make sure that you borrow when you need to. Make sure that the decimal is in the same place and that it lines up. And then we just subtract normally. 15 minus 9 is 4. 15 minus 9 is 6. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Now remember the check strategy. For subtraction, we can do the opposite and add. So 9 plus 8 is 17. 6 and 4 is 10. 8 and 0 is 8. 6 and 9 is 15. And 3 and 2 is 5. So therefore we know we must be correct. 27 multiplied by 81, I'm going to use the compensation method. So I'm first going to say 27 multiplied by 80. And to do this, I can say 27 multiplied by 8. So 20 multiplied by 8 is 160. 7 multiplied by 8 is 56. So when I add those two together, I get 216, and then I need to remember the multiple of 10, okay? That's 80 times 27, okay? I need to now add an additional group of 27. Here's the group of 27 I need to add, and that will give me a final answer of 2,187. You can go and check this by doing another method, okay? And let's have a look at how a column method would work. And 2, 56, 21, and then if I add them up, 7 and 0 is 7, 2 and 6 is 8, 1 and 2000. So we must know we're correct if two different methods give us the same answer. Your next question is division by 2, and we know that that is simply halving the number. Okay, so if I've got 1,874 and I want to divide that by 2, there's no problem with you using the short division method. Okay, now we say 2 into 18 goes 9 times, 2 into 7 goes 3 times, leaves you with 1, and that's 2 into 14 goes 7 times. Now if I multiply 0,937 by 2, I need to get 1,874, and I do indeed get 1,874 if you go and work that out. Question 5 is the addition of fractions, and the first thing you'll notice is that the denominators are different, and if the denominators are different, then we need to find the lowest common multiple of 4 and 5, which is called the lowest common denominator. So 3/4 plus 1/5. Lowest common denominator of 4 and 5 is 20. 4 goes into 25 times, so 5 times 3 is 15. 5 goes into 24 times, so 4 times 1 is 4. And when you add up the numerators, you get 19 over 20. Question 6. I'm sure by now we know that when we divide by 10, the number gets one place smaller. Okay, and 67,33 divided by 10 is going to give us 6,733. All right, and then your last question, 4 plus 3 times 6. I'm hoping that you remembered from our warm-up activity that multiply comes before addition. So we do 3 times 6 first, which is 18, then add the 4. So your answer is 22. Today we're going to look at analyzing data, and the first type of average we're going to look at is called the mode. Now the mode or modal value, they can be called both, is a set of data that appears the most often. Okay, and what do I mean by that? So for example, the number of goals scored by the local football team in the last 10 games is 212,0023121. So we now need to find the mode or the modal value of that set of numbers. And as you can see in the description of mode or modal value, it says the data value that appears the most often, and you can see the number 2 is the number that appears the most often, so therefore the modal score is 2. Is it possible to have more than one modal value? Yes, it is. So if there are two numbers that appear the most, then both of those numbers are going to be your modal value. Is it possible to have no modal value? Yes, it is. Okay? So just remember those when you're dealing with mode. A dice was thrown 10 times. These are the results. I would like you to take a few seconds and work out what the modal value is. So we look for the number that occurs the most often out of those 10 results, and you can see that the number 3 appears the most often, so therefore 3 is the modal score. The mode is the only average that can be used for categorical or non-numerical data. Okay, and what do we mean by that? Well, if, for example, 30 pupils are asked how they usually travel to school, the results can be shown as follows. So that's categorical or non-numerical data because we are looking at the method of travel. Bicycle, on foot, car, bus, or train is non-numerical. Those are your categories. So your modal value over here is the method of travel that is chosen the most often, and you can clearly see that that is on foot, as 8 out of the 30 students travel on foot, which is more than any other type of travel. So traveling on foot is therefore the modal method of travel. We can also find the mode from a bar chart. So this bar chart shows the scores in a science test. And the question would be, what was the modal score? And if you have a look on the horizontal axis, which is the x-axis, it tells you marks out of 10. So if we read this graph, you can see that 2 pupils, which is the y-axis or the vertical axis, scored a result of 2 out of 10. 1 pupil got 1 out of 10. 3 pupils scored, 6 pupils scored 6 out of 10. 5 pupils scored 4 out of 10. 8 pupils got 5 out of 10. And then the tallest bar is 9 pupils that got 6 out of 10. So your modal score there is going to be 6 out of 10 because that is the highest bar. And there it is indicated on the graph for you. We can find the mode from a pie chart. So an example of this is on the screen, and that is a pie chart showing you the favorite food of a sample of people. And again, this is non-numerical or categorical data. Okay, so you can read from that graph what the modal food type is. So you can see that 78 people preferred chocolate, 26 preferred fruit, 18 preferred vegetables, and 55 preferred sweets. Not a very healthy group of people that they would have sampled, but you would have been quite correct in saying that chocolate was the biggest sector, so therefore chocolate is the modal food type. We can find the mode from a frequency table. So in the frequency table given to you on the screen, it shows the frequency of different length words in a given paragraph of text. So if we can read that frequency table properly, word length of 1 occurs 3 times. Word length of 2 occurs 16 times. Word length of 3 occurs 12 times. Word length of 4 appears 16 times. So you need to work through that frequency table and have a look which word length appears the most often. Now, you'll notice that 16 occurs twice. So the word length of 2 and the word length of 4 both have a frequency of 16. So therefore, for this data, there are 2 modal word lengths. And you'll remember right at the beginning, we said, is it possible to have more than one modal value? And the answer was yes. And here is an example of more than one modal value. So the answer here would be 2 and 4. So just make sure you read through the data correctly and carefully and recognize if a number is repeated. And then you'll have to be able to read that there are 2 modal values. Also find the modal class for continuous data. And continuous data is represented in the table on your screen. So that table represents 50 boys and 50 girls who completed 1 lap around a racetrack and their times. So you read that from 2 minutes to 2 minutes 15, and including 2 minutes, 3 boys and 1 girl finished a lap. From 2 minutes 15 to 2 minutes 30, including 2 minutes 15, there were 7 boys and 6 girls that completed the lap. And you can read that information off the frequency table moving down to see how many boys and girls completed a lap in a particular time. So what is the modal class for the girls? So which time appears the most for the girls? And you'll see there's an entry of 12, which is the highest number. So that means 12 girls completed the lap between 3 minutes 15 and including 3:15 to 3 minutes 30. The modal class for boys. So if you have a look, the majority of boys, 13 of them, finished the lap between 2 minutes 45, including 2:45, and to 3 minutes. So the modal class for boys will be 13. The next part asks, what is the modal class for the pupils, regardless of whether they are a boy or a girl? So now we need to add up the various frequencies. And if you go through the table, you'll see that between 2 minutes 45 and 3 minutes, that there were 13 boys and 9 girls, and 13 plus 9 gives you 22, and that's going to be your modal class because that's where the most number of boys and girls finished one lap. Okay? So that's how you find the mode or modal class in a variety of ways. The next part, or the next average we're going to look at is the median, and the median is the middle value of a set of numbers which are arranged in order. Now the part of the sentence there which says arranged in order is crucially important. For example, if you had to find the median of this list of numbers, 10, 7, 9, 12, 7, 8, 6, the first thing you should be able to recognize is they are not in numerical order. So I need to write these numbers in numerical order, starting with the smallest entry, and you'll notice that if a number is repeated, then you still write it down twice. So there are 2 7s in the original set of numbers. So when you write those numbers in order, you must include both number 7s. You now need to look for what is the middle value. Now this is an odd set of numbers. So you can see there's 7 entries. So it's relatively straightforward to identify that 8 is in the middle of that set of values. So your median value out of those numbers is indeed 8. But what happens when there's an even number of values? That means we need to find an average of the 2 middle values. And another word for average is mean, and we're going to have a look at that type of average in the next lesson. But what you would have to do when you wanted to find the median of 56, 42, 47, 51, 65, and 43 is remember to first write them down in order from smallest to largest. And now you can see that there are 6 entries. So to find the middle entry, it is going to be in between 47 and 51. So I need to add 47 and 51. And if we add 47 and 51, we're going to get 98. And to find the average of those 2 numbers, we divide by 2. And we divide by 2 because there are 2 numbers that we are working with. Okay? And 98 divided by 2 is 49. So the median of that set of numbers is 49. If you find the difference between 47 and 51, and add half of this difference to the lowest number, it will also give you the answer of 49. Okay? I would encourage you to simply find the average of the 2 middle numbers like we did in the top section, but it is interesting that you can find the median in a different type of way. So there you have the final answer. I just wanted to talk to you about rogue values. Now, a rogue value is an outlier, okay? So the median is often used when there is a rogue value. So that is a value that's either smaller or larger than the rest. So you can see in the following set of data that most of the numbers are around the high 100s and around 200. So what I mean by high 100s is that it's from 177 to 201. So they're quite similar and they're quite close together. But you'll notice the number 4 that appears in that set of data. Now that is a rogue value, or it's called an outlier. It is miles away from all the other numbers. So we would use the median to work out the average of this set of data. Because remember, the median, the mode, and in the next lesson when we do the mean and the range, they are all types of averages. So you need to know when to use which average when dealing with data. And like when there's a rogue value or an outlier, we use the median because it doesn't really change the value of the median or the data. So this is an odd set of numbers. There are 9 of them. So it's quite easy to figure out the median. It's just circling the middle answer. And there you can see that the number 4 doesn't really interfere with the median value. Guys, that leads us on to the game of 24, which is your finisher for today. By now I'm sure that you realize you need to use each number on a particular card and a combination of the operational signs to get the answer of 24. So for example, on the first card, you've got 3, 9, 7, and 4. And what you need to do there is use those 4 numbers with plus, minus, multiply, or divide and come up with the answer of 24. I hope you guys are enjoying this game, and I hope you guys continue to challenge each other at home moving forward. Grade 6s, thank you very much for your time today. Remember to email me on grade6@worksheetcloud.com should you have any questions, queries, or suggestions on work that you'd like me to cover moving forward. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Keep safe. See you next time. All the best.